How many of you are clinging to something that no longer serves you? It could be a relationship, a habit, or a job, something that's dead and gone, yet you still hold on, as though it were your lifeline. The truth is, it's not. You are shackled by your fears, trapped by the comfort of what's familiar, and bound by the illusion that letting go means losing everything. But what if I told you that the very key to your freedom lies in the act of releasing? I know what it's like. I've been there. I've stood in the ruins of something that was once alive, but had long since withered away. Yet I still clung to it, afraid of what would happen if I let go. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that without those things or people, we would be lost, empty. But listen to this. Being alone is not the thing to fear. No, my friend. What you should fear is giving away your power to something or someone that doesn't deserve it. When you rely on others for your happiness, your peace, your sense of self-worth, you place your joy in the hands of the unpredictable. You become a slave to their moods, their whims, their choices. Does that sound familiar? It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Galatians 5:13. Betusun delitorsium desive Darsquad Tun Tus. This passage rings with profound truth. Every time you place your happiness in another's hands, you relinquish control. You let them decide whether or not you feel joy. You hand them your peace. You live at the mercy of circumstances. Aren't you tired? Aren't you exhausted from it all? But here's the good news. You don't have to remain this way. You can break free. You must have the courage to stand tall on your own. You can find happiness within, in the things that bring you life, your passions, your pursuits, your talents. When you stop depending on external sources for your happiness, you reclaim the power that's always been yours. Letting go will not be easy. It will hurt. It will feel as though you are tearing yourself apart. But the truth is, that pain is the very thing that will make you whole again. Romans 8:18 teaches us, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. It will burn, yes, but this burning is the refining fire that will forge you into something stronger, something better. Pain insists upon being attended to, as C.S. Lewis so aptly puts it. It may feel like a brutal teacher, but oh, how much we learn from it. The lesson, though painful, will guide you to a deeper understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. Where do you begin? You begin with yourself. Start small. Reclaim your time, your energy, your focus. What sets your soul on fire? What brings you joy? Discover those things and nurture them. Rediscover the life that resides within you, waiting to be unleashed. When you begin to focus on what truly matters to you, loneliness won't dare touch you. You'll realize that solitude isn't your enemy. It's your sanctuary. You may feel that you're alone, but trust me, God has not abandoned you. His presence is with you, even in your moments of isolation. You are never truly alone when you walk in His light. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. This is not just a verse to memorize. It is a truth to be lived. When you start walking in your own purpose, surrounded by those who lift you up, you'll see that the people who truly belong in your life will come. You will be drawn to those who encourage your growth, not those who drag you down. You will cut out the toxic relationships, the energy suckers, and the people who make you feel small. Let them go. You were never meant to live at the mercy of their approval. There is one thing that I must say with all the sincerity in my heart. Be kind to yourself. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to grow, to stumble, to rise again, stronger each time. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by how you rise from them. C.S. Lewis said it best, failures are finger posts on the road to achievement. Every mistake is a lesson. Every setback is a step closer to becoming who you were always meant to be. And that's where the journey starts. It begins with choosing to embrace your own company, to learn to love yourself in a way that no one else can. It is not about waiting for someone else to fill the void. No, it is about recognizing that you are already complete. What you see and what you hear depends a great deal on where you are standing. Change your perspective. The future you long for will not arrive by clinging to the past. So, let go. Let go of what no longer serves you. Release the fears, the doubts, the people, and the habits that hold you back. God has greater things in store for you. You were created for abundance, for joy, for freedom. But that journey begins with releasing the old so you can make room for the new. Your worth is not found in what the world says about you, but in the light of God's love. Let go. Now, take a deep breath. Feel that weight lift off your shoulders as you make the choice to move forward. It might feel daunting, but I promise you, when you step into the fullness of who God has created you to be, you will see the world respond in ways you never imagined. You will find freedom. You will find joy. You will find yourself. Welcome to C.S. Lewis. Here, you will discover the path to a deeper and more meaningful relationship with God. Why wouldn't it already twice? Solitude. The very word can stir up feelings of discomfort. We associate it with loneliness, with emptiness. But what if solitude is not something to be feared? What if it is in those quiet moments of being alone that we are able to hear the truest whispers of our soul? In a world that never stops, a world filled with distractions, solitude becomes a precious space, a refuge where we can rediscover who we are, and more importantly, who we are meant to be. You may think you need the constant noise of others to feel validated, but this is not true. The truth is, there is a deeper calling that lies beneath the surface. The noise of the world often drowns out the voice of God, who patiently waits for you in the stillness. We were not meant to live our lives at the mercy of the world's expectations, but at the command of God's purpose for us. It is in the silence, in the moments where we are alone with our thoughts and with Him, that we begin to hear His calling, to see the road He has set before us. I've heard many say that they fear being alone because they don't know who they are without the opinions of others to guide them. I tell you, there is strength in knowing yourself. There is power in embracing your own company. When you learn to stand in your own truth, when you no longer look to others for validation, you will be amazed at what you find within. The world may tell you that you need more, but in reality, you need less. You need less of the noise, less of the distractions, less of the world's pressure. You need more of God's presence, more of your own heart, more of the quiet, holy space where you can hear His whispers of love and guidance. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. These words remind us that in stillness, we find clarity. When you are still, You can hear God's voice above the clamor of the world. And it is in those moments that you come to know yourself in the deepest way. You begin to see who you are in Christ, not defined by the world's fleeting standards, but by the unshakable foundation of God's love. But many are afraid of solitude. They fear it because they have not yet learned the truth that comes with being alone. You are enough. You are not empty. You are not broken. You are whole. But that truth cannot be found in the noise of the world. It can only be found in the quiet, in the moments where you look inward and ask, who am I truly, apart from the world's judgment? C.S. Lewis understood this deeply. In his Reflections on Solitude, he wrote, "We are not made for a world of mirrors. We were not created to constantly see ourselves reflected in the opinions of others. No, we were made to see ourselves as we truly are, through the eyes of the Creator. It is only when we learn to stand in our own truth, to be comfortable in our own skin, that we can truly step into the fullness of who we are meant to be. When you begin to embrace solitude, you will find that loneliness cannot touch you. You are never truly alone when you are grounded in God's presence. Solitude becomes not a space of emptiness, but a place of divine connection, a sanctuary where you can hear the quiet urging of God's Spirit leading you forward. God, in His wisdom, designed us to thrive in relationship, not just with others, but with Him first. It is only through this deep connection with God that we can know ourselves fully. And when we begin to understand who we are in Him, we will start to live with confidence and clarity. The opinions of others will no longer hold power over us, because we will know that our worth comes from Him alone. As you journey into this space of self-discovery, remember this: growth is not always comfortable. You may face moments of doubt, moments where you wonder if you are truly capable of standing on your own. But know this: you were made for greatness. The courage you need is already within you, planted there by the one who created you. C.S. Lewis often spoke of the challenge of growing through suffering. He said, "Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is through the difficult moments, through the times of trial and suffering, that we learn who we truly are. Those are the moments that refine us, shaping us into the people we are meant to be. When we face those moments of pain, we have a choice. We can either let them define us, or we can let them refine us. Every trial we face is an opportunity to become more of who we were always meant to be. Pain is inevitable, but it does not break us. It builds us. It molds us into something stronger, something more resilient. And through it all, we are not alone. God is with us, guiding us, shaping us for His purpose. The journey of self-discovery, of embracing solitude, is not a lonely road. It is a road that leads to greater intimacy with God and a deeper understanding of who you are in Him. In this space you will find peace. You will find strength. You will find the courage to step into the fullness of your calling. It is in the quiet moments, in the solitude, that you will hear God's voice most clearly. And when you listen, when you allow yourself to be still and know that He is God, you will be amazed at what He has planned for you. How often do we give our power away without even realizing it? We surrender it to others, to circumstances, to the very things that should not have dominion over us. It starts with the little things, letting someone dictate our emotions, allowing our fears to control our decisions, or letting society tell us who we should be. And before we know it, We've handed over the reins to our own lives, allowing others to drive our journey. But the truth is, your power is yours to reclaim, and it begins the moment you decide to stop giving it away. There's a great deal of freedom in realizing that you do not have to live at the mercy of others. It can be so easy to believe that our worth is tied to the approval of others. But when we do that, we are no longer in control. We have become dependent, relying on the opinions and judgments of others to determine our happiness, our peace, our sense of worth. The fear of man will prove to be a snare. Proverbs 29:25 tells us, "We give our power away when we let the opinions of others control us." But this is not how we were meant to live. C.S. Lewis said, "The moment you wake up each morning, all your wishes and hopes for the day rush at you like wild animals. And the first job each morning consists simply in shoving them all back, in listening to that other voice, taking that other point of view, letting that other larger, stronger, quieter life come flowing in." This is the process of reclaiming our power. It's about taking a step back and remembering that we are not slaves to the whims of others or to the pressures of society. We are not bound to live by their standards. We are free to be who God made us to be, to live according to His purpose, not the world's expectations. But reclaiming your power requires action. It requires courage. It requires you to stand tall in the face of fear, doubt, and insecurity. You must make the decision to take back what is rightfully yours, to stop allowing others to shape your narrative and start shaping it yourself. There will be challenges, of course. There will be those who resist your transformation, who try to pull you back into the old patterns. But remember this, no one can take what God has given you unless you give it away. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4 reminds us, the power of God, the strength of His Spirit, is greater than anything this world can throw at you. So, how do you reclaim your power? It starts with a simple truth. You must know who you are. You must know that you are more than what others see in you. You are more than the labels the world has placed upon you. You are a child of God, created in His image, and that alone gives you inherent worth and dignity. But this truth must be embraced fully, and it must be lived out daily. C.S. Lewis wisely observed, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. It's never too late to reclaim your power, to take back what you've given away. You are never too far gone. You can start again at any moment. God's grace is sufficient. His mercy is endless, and His power is available to you at all times. You need only to ask for it, to lean on Him, and to trust that He will equip you for whatever comes next." The key to this transformation is a shift in perspective. It's about changing how you see yourself, how you view your life, and how you approach the world around you. What you see and what you hear depends a great deal on where you are standing. C.S. Lewis wrote, "The world can look different depending on your point of view. Wide. If you see yourself as weak, as powerless, then that is the life you will live. But if you see yourself as strong, as capable, as a child of God, then that is the life you will begin to experience." Reclaiming your power also means taking ownership of your life. It means no longer allowing other people or circumstances to dictate your happiness. You must learn to say no to the things that drain you, to the relationships that diminish your value, and to the habits that hold you back. You were not created to live in fear. You were not created to live in bondage. You were created to live boldly, to pursue your dreams, to walk in the freedom that Christ has already won for you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. This is the Spirit that lives within you. This is the power that has been given to you through Christ. You do not have to live in fear of what others think or in fear of what might happen. God has already equipped you with everything you need to succeed. You have His power at work within you, guiding you, strengthening you, and helping you reclaim the life you were always meant to live. To reclaim your power is to step into your calling. It is to acknowledge that you have been chosen, that you have a purpose, and that you have a role to play in God's grand plan. You are not here by accident. You were created for such a time as this. You are equipped with everything you need to fulfill your purpose, and it starts with reclaiming your power, taking back what the enemy has stolen and standing firm in the truth of who you are in Christ. The journey of reclaiming your power is not always easy. There will be moments when you feel weak, when you wonder if you can truly make it. But in those moments, remember this: God is with you. He is your strength. He is your help. He is your refuge. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in Him and He helps me. Psalm 28:7. When you lean on Him, when you trust in His power, there is nothing you cannot overcome. Reclaim your power today. Stand tall. Take back what the world has tried to steal from you. Embrace who you are in Christ, and walk boldly into the future He has prepared for you. Change. It's a word that can evoke all kinds of reactions: excitement, fear, dread, anticipation. Yet, no matter how we feel about it, change is inevitable. It's a part of life, a force that we must either embrace or fight against. Many of us resist change because it requires us to step out of our comfort zones, to leave behind the familiar and the safe. But what if I told you that change, though painful, is the very thing that shapes us into who we are meant to be? What if I told you that the pain of change is not something to be feared, but something to be welcomed? You see, in order to grow, we must be willing to let go of the old and make room for the new. It's the process of shedding old skin, of letting go of habits, relationships, and beliefs that no longer serve us. And this process is not always painless. In fact, it often hurts. C.S. Lewis understood this truth deeply. He once said, "The pain I feel now is the happiness I had before. That's the deal. There is joy on the other side of pain, but first we must walk through the fire." The fire of change is not meant to destroy us, it is meant to refine us. Just as gold is refined in the fire, so too are we refined through the trials and changes that we face. We are being shaped, molded into something more beautiful, more resilient, more aligned with God's purpose for our lives. It is through the pain that we discover our true strength. It is through the struggle that we become who we were always meant to be. But how do we embrace this pain? How do we find the courage to move through the discomfort and into the new life that awaits us? First, we must remember that we are not alone in this process. God is with us every step of the way, guiding us through the storm. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. Isaiah 43:2. These words remind us that, no matter how fierce the storm may seem, God is our refuge. He is the one who holds us steady in the midst of change. When we trust in God's presence, when we rely on His strength, we find that the pain of change becomes more bearable. We begin to see it not as something to fear, but as a necessary part of our transformation. We can no longer view change as something that happens to us. We must begin to see it as something that happens for us. It is in the process of change that God molds us, purifies us, and brings us closer to his heart. C.S. Lewis also observed, "We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. This is a powerful reminder that in the midst of the pain of change, there are hidden blessings. What may seem like an obstacle is often an opportunity in disguise, a chance for growth, a chance for transformation. It is through change that we discover new parts of ourselves, parts that we never knew existed, parts that were always there, waiting to be awakened. One of the most difficult aspects of change is letting go of what is familiar. We hold on to the past because it feels safe. We cling to what we know, even if it no longer serves us, because it's what we've always had. But in order to grow, we must let go. We must trust that what lies ahead is far greater than what we leave behind. C.S. Lewis famously said, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind." This quote carries with it a promise of hope, a reminder that the future is full of possibilities. The life you were meant to live is waiting for you. But in order to experience it, you must first let go of the things that are holding you back. When you begin to embrace the pain of change, you will discover that you are not as fragile as you once thought. You will begin to see that the trials you face do not have the power to break you. They have the power to make you. Every challenge you face, every hardship you endure, is an opportunity for you to grow in faith, in strength, and in courage. You are never meant to remain the same. You are meant to evolve, to transform, and to rise to new heights. And in that process you will find that the pain, though sharp in the moment, is only temporary. The joy that follows is everlasting. The joy set before us. This is the promise of transformation. It is the reward that comes after the pain. It is the life we were always meant to live. But we must be willing to endure the process of change, to go through the fire in order to emerge on the other side. And when we do, we will see that the life God has prepared for us is far greater than anything we could have imagined. So if you are in the midst of a painful change right now, know this: you are not alone. God is with you. He is refining you, shaping you, and preparing you for something greater. Trust in His plan. Trust that the pain you are experiencing is not for nothing. It is part of the process. And on the other side of it, you will find a life filled with purpose, filled with joy, and filled with the peace that only comes from walking in God's will. Letting go is perhaps one of the hardest things we will ever do in life. Whether it's a relationship, a dream, or a habit, it can feel as if we are being asked to part with a piece of ourselves. It is not simply the loss of something familiar, but the fear of the unknown that grips us and holds us back. Yet, what if the very thing that you're holding on to is the very thing that is preventing you from stepping into the fullness of your potential? What if letting go is not a loss, but a gain? I have often thought about the way we hold on to things. We clutch them in our hands as though they were the only thing standing between us and complete fulfillment. Yet, in truth, they often weigh us down. They prevent us from moving forward, from stepping into the life God has prepared for us. But how do we find the courage to let go? How do we overcome the fear that keeps us chained to things that no longer serve us? C.S. Lewis said, "You can make anything by writing. The same can be said for your life. You are the author of your story, but in order to write the next chapter, you must let go of the pages that have already been written. You cannot move forward if you are clinging to what is behind you. The past has no power over you, unless you give it that power. The future, however, is filled with infinite possibilities, but those possibilities are unlocked only when you decide to release the past. Letting go of the past is not about forgetting, it's about releasing the hold that it has over you. It's about surrendering your fear, your regrets, your guilt, and your pain to God and trusting that He has a plan that is greater than anything you could ever imagine. The Bible tells us that God works all things together for good for those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose, Romans 8:28. Your past, no matter how painful or difficult, is part of a story that God is weaving in your life. But you cannot experience the beauty of the future if you are still holding on to the past. The fear of letting go often comes from the belief that we will be lost without what we are clinging to. But I want to remind you of something powerful. You are not defined by what you have, by who you are with, or by what you do. You are defined by the love of God, who created you in His image. Your worth is not tied to the things of this world. Your worth is eternal, anchored in the truth of who you are in Christ. And it is from that foundation that you are free to let go. When you choose to let go, you are not giving up. You are making room for God to work in your life in ways that you could never have imagined. You are choosing to trust in His plan, to believe that He knows what is best for you. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "It is not your business to succeed, but to be faithful." Trusting God with your future requires faith. It requires believing that even though you cannot see the way forward, He can. It requires choosing to step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that He is guiding you every step of the way. It's also important to remember that letting go is not a one-time decision. It is a daily choice. Every day, we are faced with the opportunity to let go of something that holds us back, whether it's a fear, a relationship, a past mistake, or a limiting belief. But with each decision to release, we step closer to the life God has for us. And with each step, we become more fully who we are meant to be. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It takes courage to face the unknown, to trust that what God has in store for you is better than what you're leaving behind. But I assure you, what lies ahead is worth the sacrifice. When you trust God and choose to let go of the things that no longer serve you, you open yourself up to a future that is filled with hope, joy, and purpose. The Bible reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Isaiah 41:10. These words are not just a comfort, they are a call to action. You are not alone in this journey. God is with you, and He will give you the strength you need to release what is holding you back. All He asks is that you trust Him, that you surrender your fears, and that you choose to move forward in faith. As you begin to let go, you will feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. You will experience a sense of freedom and peace that only comes when you release control and trust in God's plan. And in the place of what you've released, you will find new possibilities, new relationships, and new opportunities that align with God's purpose for your life. But this can only happen when you have the courage to let go. When we look at the lives of great men and women throughout history, we see that the most impactful people were not the ones who clung to what was comfortable, but the ones who had the courage to let go. They were the ones who chose to take risks, to follow God's leading, and to step into the unknown with faith. And in doing so, they found lives filled with purpose, fulfillment, and joy. Now, it's your turn. What is God asking you to let go of today? What is He calling you to release so that you can step into the fullness of His plan for your life? It's time to let go of fear. It's time to let go of doubt. It's time to let go of the past. Trust that God has something better in store for you. And when you do, you will find that the life you've been longing for is waiting on the other side of your obedience. Faith. Faith. It's a word we hear often, but do we truly understand its power? In times of uncertainty and hardship, we are called to have faith, not in our circumstances, but in the God who holds those circumstances in His hands. It's easy to have faith when everything is going well, when the road is smooth and the sky is clear. But the real test of faith comes when the storm hits, when the world around us seems to crumble, and when we are left standing, unsure of the way forward. This is where true faith begins, not in the absence of doubt, but in the presence of it. It is not the absence of fear, but the courage to move forward despite it. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "You never know how much you really believe anything until its truth or falsehood becomes a matter of life and death." It is only in the face of trials, when the stakes are high, that our faith is truly tested. And it is in those moments that we discover whether our faith is in ourselves or in the one who holds the universe in His hands. Faith is not a feeling, it's a choice. It is the choice to trust God even when we don't understand what's happening, when we can't see the end of the road. It's the decision to believe that He is working all things together for our good, even when everything seems to be falling apart. In the midst of the storm, faith is the anchor that keeps us grounded, the lighthouse that guides us through the darkness. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. Hebrews 11:1 tells us. This verse reminds us that faith is not about what we can see with our eyes, but what we can trust with our hearts. It is about choosing to believe in God's promises, even when our circumstances tell us otherwise. It's about looking at the impossible and choosing to believe that, with God, all things are possible. Doubt will come. It's inevitable. Every person of faith has faced moments of doubt, moments when it felt as if God was distant, when His promises seemed out of reach. Even C.S. Lewis, who became one of the most influential Christian thinkers of his time, wrestled with doubt. He said, "I am not sure that I believe in God. I am still at times an atheist, but my belief in God is something that keeps me going." This honesty about the struggle of faith is something we can all relate to. Doubt does not make us bad Christians. It makes us human. But what matters is what we do with that doubt. Do we let it paralyze us? Or do we choose to trust God despite it? Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting God even when we don't have the answers. It's about walking forward in obedience, even when we can't see the next step. And that's what makes faith so powerful. It requires us to let go of control, to surrender our need for certainty, and to trust in the one who knows the way. I know how hard it can be to trust in the unknown. But here's the truth. Faith is not about the size of our understanding, but the size of our trust. It's not about having all the pieces of the puzzle, but about believing that God has already put them together, even when we can't see the picture. In moments of doubt, when you feel like you're walking through darkness, remember that God is with you. He has not abandoned you. His presence is a constant reminder that you are not alone. And when you lean into His truth, your faith will grow stronger, and your fear will diminish. In C.S. Lewis' The Chronicles of Narnia, he writes of Aslan, the great lion who represents Christ, saying, "He is not a tame lion." This line speaks to the mystery and majesty of God. He is not bound by our expectations or limitations. He is wild, untamed, and yet He is good. And in our moments of doubt, we are called to trust in this wild goodness, to surrender our need for control and step out in faith, knowing that He will lead us exactly where we need to go. Faith calls us to live with eyes that see beyond the present moment, to trust that there is a greater purpose at work. As C.S. Lewis wrote, "We are all strangers here, and heaven is our home." Our faith is not just for this life. It is a faith that looks forward to the life to come, to the eternity that awaits us. We are called to live with an eternal perspective, to trust that God's plan is far greater than anything we can see right now. The trials of this life are temporary. The promises of God are eternal. So, what does it mean to live by faith? It means walking through life with an unwavering trust in God, even when the path is unclear. It means surrendering your fears, your doubts, and your need for control to Him. It means trusting that His way is better than your own, even when it doesn't make sense. And it means looking to the future with hope, knowing that God has prepared a way for you, and that, no matter what, He will never leave you or forsake you. Faith, then, is not just a spiritual practice. It is a lifestyle. It's a way of being in the world, of walking through life with the confidence that God is with you every step of the way. And when you choose to live by faith, you will find that fear no longer has the power to control you. You will discover a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace that can only come from trusting in God's perfect plan. Life is full of choices, some small, some momentous, and all requiring us to make a decision. The most significant choice we ever make, however, is the one that leads us to step fully into the life God has prepared for us. It is the decision to live in the fullness of who we are, to embrace all that we are meant to be, and to trust that the path we are on is leading us towards something greater than we could ever imagine. Too often, we settle for less than what God has for us. We hold back, afraid to fully commit, afraid to step into the unknown, because we cannot see the entire picture. But faith calls us to walk forward, one step at a time, trusting that God has already paved the way. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. No matter where you are in life, no matter what you've been through, God is calling you to rise, to step into your destiny, and to claim the life He has designed for you. You see, the life you were meant to live is not one of fear, stagnation, or doubt. It is a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. But in order to step into that life, you must first let go of the things that have held you back. Your fears, your regrets, your doubts, and your limiting beliefs. These are the chains that keep you tethered to a life of mediocrity, a life that is smaller than the one God has for you. C.S. Lewis also said, "We are what we believe we are." If you believe that you are destined for more, then you will step into that more. If you believe that God has a plan for your life, then you will trust that He will guide you to it. But if you believe that you are unworthy, unqualified, or incapable, then you will limit yourself and never fully experience the life God has in store. It all begins with a change in perspective, a shift from seeing yourself through the lens of your mistakes, your shortcomings, and your fears, to seeing yourself as God sees you, precious, capable, and chosen. You are not an accident. You are not here by chance. You are here because God has a specific purpose for your life, and He has equipped you with everything you need to fulfill that purpose. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. This promise is not just for the future. It is for today. It is for right now. You are not waiting for something to happen. The life you are meant to live is happening right now, and the only thing standing in your way is your willingness to embrace it. I understand that stepping into the life you were meant to live can be intimidating. There are so many unknowns, so many questions, and so many doubts that arise when you begin to walk in faith. But I want to remind you that you are not walking alone. God is with you, and He has promised to guide your steps. C.S. Lewis, in his profound wisdom, said, "We are all mere players in a story written by the hand of God. The story of your life is not one that you are writing alone. It is a story that God has already written, and He is calling you to step into it. As you walk in His will, you will discover that the life you've been longing for is not one of perfection, but of grace. It is not about having it all together, but about trusting that God's plan is bigger than your imperfections. Every misstep, every failure, every challenge is a part of the story that He is weaving in your life. And when you trust Him, you will see how each chapter, each twist and turn, leads you closer to the person you were always meant to be. The great thing in life, as C.S. Lewis once wrote, is to stop regarding all the unpleasant things as interruptions of one's own or real life. Every step of this journey is part of your life's great purpose. Embrace it all. The hardships, the triumphs, the questions, and the answers. They are all part of the journey. And when you trust God, you will find that there is nothing that can stop you from stepping fully into the life you were meant to live. The choice is yours. Will you stay where you are, clinging to the comfort of the familiar, or will you step forward into the unknown, trusting that God will lead you into a future filled with hope and promise? The life you were meant to live is waiting for you. It is filled with joy, purpose, and fulfillment, but it requires you to take that first step in faith. There will be moments of doubt, of fear, and of uncertainty along the way, but these moments do not define you. It is your faith in God's promises, your trust in His plan, that will carry you through. And as you walk in His will, you will find that your life begins to align with the purpose He has for you, and you will begin to live the abundant life that He has always wanted for you. So, take that step. Let go of what is holding you back. Embrace the journey. Trust that God is with you, and know that as you step into the life you are meant to live, you will find joy and fulfillment beyond anything you could ever imagine. As we have journeyed through these chapters together, we have explored the importance of letting go, embracing solitude, reclaiming our power, and trusting in God's plan for our lives. The path to fulfillment begins with the decision to trust that God has something greater for you. Let go of what no longer serves you, walk in faith, and step boldly into the life God has prepared for you. As you do, you will find that your life is filled with joy, purpose, and peace. If this message has resonated with you, I invite you to comment below and share your thoughts. What is God calling you to let go of today? Subscribe to the C.S. Lewis channel for more inspirational content to help guide you on your journey of faith and growth. Let us walk this path together.